All right, welcome everybody out there to Amateur Radio Roundtable. This is a show about ham radio, amateur radio, shortwave, electronics, pico balloons, all kinds of interesting things about the 7490. 7490. Send us an email and let us know how you're hearing the station and how you're hearing the show. Tell us where you are in the world, and we'd love to hear from you. Just send that email to Tom at or subscribe to our channel here. It helps us out a whole lot if you do subscribe. And if you will, hit that subscribe button right show and bring it in. So the button should be down here in the bottom right somewhere. So please hit that subscribe button. We'd like for you to join our Facebook group, our Ham Radio Facebook group. We've got about 4, or if you want to, you can type in Amateur Radio Roundtable. That's a lot of typing. Just type in W5KUB in a search bar in Facebook, and you can join our group of 15,000 hams. Also, we'd love for you, hey, Tumblr to iTunes. We're out there everywhere. Send us an email if you're listening on there. We'd love to hear from you about that. Again, don't forget, we're on Thursdays. We're on WBCQ 7490 up in Monticello, Maine. That's where we are, right there. All right, so I think we're getting all that taken care of there. Okay, now, Glenn he sent me a note about 5:30 that he may be a little minimum of a 3-hour drive to his house. 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. He might be in here. He might make it if he speeds. So I don't expect to see Glenn, maybe until the end of the show. Brett is a little late, so that's what's happening there with Brett. We do have a guest tonight, and we're going to have, I think we'll have an interesting show tonight. Have some fun tonight, and let's see. A couple of things I want to talk about tonight. Remember, we did a segment here on the show a few weeks or a month ago about the FCC taxing repeaters, and we were kind of stung tonight. So he's going to talk to us about the dipole and where they come up with all this stuff. And since then, I've been reading a lot of their different posts, and they got some kind of funny stuff out there. All right, so we're going to do work. That's an interesting network, and I want to talk a little about that tonight. Some of the statistics and what it's used for. And in fact, some of you may even have one of these. This is the MFJ DX beacon monitor. You see that little light there, a little red light that's moving around. I think it's moving. Come on, move red light. There you go. It's supposed to tell me where all that is. We're going to talk a little about that in the International Beacon. And I want to talk about, I bet you 90% of the people on here don't know what NRQZ is. We're going to talk about NRQZ. I'll just give you a hint. 13,000 square miles in the United States. You cannot have no Wi-Fi, no cell phones, no microwaves, no nothing. I mean, the thing here that you need to key in is NRQZ. We're going to talk about that tonight. And, well, let's see. That's probably going to be about it tonight. I'm still under the weather. I don't know if I'm ever going to get cured, but a few minutes ago, we got Mark Pupo in here. You guys know Mark. He's always in a chat room every week, and Mark's going to be on here to help us. If I drop off in 5 minutes, Mark's just going to run the show, so I know I can count on him. Okay, all right. So let's just, first of all, let me see if I can figure out how to work this thing. Here's Glenn. Let me bring Glenn in here. Hang on, everybody. I just don't think I don't know. That's impossible. Impossible. Okay, Glenn.
Yeah. Fed the cats even.
That's a 3-hour drive minimum.
2 hours, 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you know how the Arkansas State Police are there. You will get pitted. You will get pitted. They don't bother speeds, 60, 70, 80. They go for the 150, 160, and 170 mile an hour peoples.
I was fine.
Yeah, okay. Well, very good. I'm glad you're there. Uh, let me see if I can adjust this picture a little bit to get everybody in here. Oh, yeah. Uh, here we go. Let me try to get everybody in the picture here. All right, that looks a little better there. Now I got everybody in here. Let's go up to Mark. Mark Pupo and Xenia. Is it Xenia or Xena? Xenia, isn't it?
Xenia.
Xenia. Come on in. Come on in, Mark.
Bellbrook, between Dayton and Xenia.
Okay. All right. Well, I thought we had somebody famous on here from, Hamvention area, but no, you're out. I hadn't seen him in a while on here. I'm glad you're here with us, Bill. And you're muted there. Now he's unmuted. So, Bill, how you doing? And I bet you've upgraded your internet since you've been on here before, hadn't you?
Well, I'm currently up on my mountaintop location looking for my light bulb went out in my lighting, so I'm a little dark at the moment. But anyways, it's not high speed, super high speed internet, but it's sufficient. It's gone out.
You look good.
So I had to put a light bulb in.
Well, that kind of leads me into one of the segments tonight. You ever heard of Li-Fi? Li-Fi? L-I-F-I? Li-Fi?
Low light Wi-Fi?
Li-Fi, discussed in one of our segments tonight. Li-Fi is actually transmitting, and this is what's allowed, transmitting internet, not Wi-Fi, but Li-Fi, Wi-Fi, okay. We'll get into that more later.
You can send CW with a light bulb, so why not?
Yeah, we'll get into that more.
Wi-Fi is just a little faster.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump up to Scott. Leaf is with us, VA7. And I'm so glad you decided you wanted to get on here with us. You guys really embarrassed us here about a month ago when we did a whole segment on how the nasty FCC was going to start taxing. So well,
Thank you.
It looked real.
By the way, first off, I just wanted to ask a question. I thought this was between two ferns. Where am I? I got the poinsettias here. It's not between two ferns? I think he knows what between two ferns is, but
I've
I don't either,
I've
but I'll just roll
never
with
heard
it.
of that show. Is that a popular show?
it's a YouTube show. You can all Google that after. You'll enjoy it.
I don't know if I've ever heard of that, but
Oh, well, you won't be able to stop.
As I mentioned, Brett is at a city council meeting doing some type of demonstration or presentation. All right, Keith. Now Clifton says YouTube's acting up again this week. I don't know. I can look at the YouTube dashboard here, and it looks like it's running pretty smooth here. Let's see. Hey, Mark, back to you real quick. Now, when we were having trouble last week, let's see. Oh, is that right?
All right. Yes, it did. I don't know what. I don't know why it wasn't. I don't even know what I would call it. It wasn't like buffering. It was like doing some weird thing with the. It was
You switched over to a VPN network, and that cleared up. So it must be something network related, and not I guess streaming from here. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah, when I changed and it worked, then it wasn't from your end. It was something YouTube was.
Well, man, I don't know. I could come back in. I was going to have Doc send me some medicine. All right. Well, look, let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump into our segment here with Scott Leaf, VA.
A beacon, a 6-meter beacon back in the day, and written down it's on a repeater. And I'm VA7SL. I know you guys only get one call sign. We can have as many as we want.
VE7 VDX.
All right, that's it. I'm moving to Canada.
VDX was VHFDX back in the day. I used to be very active on 6 meters, and we
actually calls as you want there. I see Doc back on. Doc, WA4YYM. Doc, send me medicine. Doc, I cannot shake this stuff. Whatever I got the crud, Doc. I've had it for a month. Send me medicine, Doc. I've seen my doctor and he can't help me. He said, I'm just going to have to live or die, one of the two. He said, it may come out both ways, or either way, not both ways. All right. Hey, Scott, Let's see if I can get you in here full screen. Let me see how.
Adrian and I, V7NZ, have been into Pico ballooning. I was telling you earlier, we've got your knot guide on the shack wall. And Bill, I don't know where Bill went to, but Bill was very good about helping us our hobby. And we also appreciate the fact that you don't take yourselves super, super seriously, and you have lots of fun.
Well, we don't, and man, hey Doc, send me a message. Bill is the Pico balloon chief guru expert in the world, so that's why we have Bill on here tonight, and we're so glad. Yeah, there's Bill. He came back in.
I hope he heard me.
Again, Bill is our chief guru. He's the master of all balloons, and has been. He is the expert there. But hey, I'm glad you got your Pico balloons going, and you're having some fun with those. And
we do HABs. We've done a few HABs. We're working on an Edge of Space HAB right now with live video. We're going to send down live video, cast back live video. Well, it's not really live. It's actually picture, but it's live enough. And we're looking forward to doing that in the new year.
Okay, real fine. Well, look, hey, tell us.
I'm sure they would love to try that. We've tried fast scan television quite successfully over the years, but that looks like a very, very unique video transmission method.
Well, it really works well. We've got quite a team on it. It isn't just me and Adrian. The thing about our group is that we're all presidents. There's no president. We're all presidents. You don't really join North Fraser Amateur Radio Club. North Fraser Amateur Radio Club joins you. We seek out people that have the skills that we need.
Excellent. That's it sounds like a medium scan television kind of technology.
I'm not the one to explain it in detail. I know roughly how it works. It's a proprietary. Well, I don't say proprietary. They're sharing it, but they've developed the protocol. It's fairly wide. It's about the width of a television channel. So we're going to be doing it on television where we're going to be to everybody, because we'll have a redundant receiving station as well. One here near Vancouver and one in the interior British Columbia. That's our goal. And we're excited about it. That we'll be streaming live video from the Edge of Space via YouTube if all goes well.
So the dipole. Let me see if I can bring the dipole up here on the show. That should be it right there. Okay, hey Scott, tell us about the dipole. What is the dipole, and how do y'all make it look so good?
Well, the dipole it's an inspiration. NZ and I like to write. V7NZ. We've known each other since we were 10 years old, something like that, and we both have sort of the same sense of humor. He's a kid that moved here from England when he was young, and he's got that dry English humor, and I kind of subscribe to that. And the dipole essentially is the onion of amateur radio. It is satire, whether you can figure that out for yourself or not. Many people can't because they either only read the headline or they only read the first paragraph and make a determination. And it's a bit of a metaphor for society, isn't it? Because a lot of people decide things based on a headline, and this is sort of helping to expose that a little bit and make fun of people who take themselves a little too seriously.
Well, I didn't know much about the dipole. Let me click here. I found something when I looked at you guys here a couple of weeks ago. Let me go here to the blog up here on your site, the blog right here. And I'm going to scroll down. Let's see, is this it? Let's see, ham radio gear. I don't think I got to the blog.
You're only going to get the current. You got to probably click on the different months to get the different articles.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Well,
if you can read what our motto is like a dipole. There's two sides to every story.
yeah.
We ignore both those sides and dig deeper for unwanted lobes and parasitic reactions.
Well, here's some several stories. I was going to get down here. You guys, I didn't realize this is 2024. It must be way down. I'll probably never find it. Probably never find it tonight.
I don't think it's that far down, Tom. I think
really?
you'll get to it.
Maybe
Yeah.
I may have passed it.
No, I know the one you mean. There's a couple. Keep going.
Let's see. Well, let me look upwards here. God, I should have tried to
You're
plan
getting
this a little bit.
closer.
Am I going the right way?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Oh, you went back.
Yeah, you went backwards, Thomas. You want to go forward.
Okay, now I'm going forward.
We don't need to see the other side.
I'm going forward. FC, what was it? FC, no. Okay, let's look here. RF exposure.
I could probably tell you about it before you're going to find it.
There you go.
You probably can. You probably wrote it. Let's see, regulations. I just really wanted to find
That's
it.
the repeater tax. You just caught that one.
Yeah.
That one. Go.
Yeah, you guys have got a lot of articles here.
Amateur Radio Fashion Month. That's one of my favorites. There you go. There's one
Pico,
anyway. There's the first
Pico-
one
Pico
about the
Pet
Pico Balloon
Project
program of Pico Pets. NZ came up with that one.
All right, look, I got a fish on here. Well,
There you go.
is this it?
Is this the one?
I was just
Pico Balloon Spike Back?
after you guys busted us, I looked at a couple of these and looking right here, top Pico ballooners such as W5KUB and et cetera, and an owner of the shot down balloon KY90 is set to implement countermeasures to protect their aerial investments from now on. Interesting that I was in there. What's the date on this? This date on this was it was last year.
April 1st of last year.
Oh yeah, are all these on April 1st? No.
Well, no. They start. We saved the good ones for April 1st.
Yeah, I would imagine so. All right, so well, that was pretty cool. We found a write up about us, and hey, so do you do some of the writing or most of the writing, or is this kind of a collaborative deal?
Well, sometimes, okay, the two ideas, we'll just be on the phone talking and then we'll both literally start talking about something and we'll throw ideas back and forth, laughing our what's off. And we never had as much response though as we had from the repeater tax program. That one it got sucked in so many people. And you weren't the only YouTuber. There was a couple others too. And then another YouTuber just made us fall on our floor laughing at how much attention it got.
Well, we probably helped you guys to suck a bunch of people in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You did.
Wow.
You did.
Well, the article seems so real. I mean, you quote content.
But there's Easter eggs. It's full of Easter eggs, and people miss them. I mean,
yeah.
Right from the title to like the fact that we're in Canada. Why would the FCC talk to a couple of hams in Canada? Ron, if you're going to take us on, it's 51 through 61 and 2 Puerto Ricos.
Well, I think the two Puerto Rico is going to ruin the deal.
I heard it may be just what. All right. Well, we'll see how it goes. Okay. Well, hey. So, do you guys try to get an article out like weekly, monthly? Do you have some kind of goal?
Inspired than others. Sometimes world events cause us to have more inspiration, as they have lately. With the Trump's border, he wants to block signals into the United States, and that sort of that one's. I mean, we don't do this for a living. We have some ads on there like everybody, but that barely pays for the cost of hosting. So it's just for fun. We are all about having fun. Started off during COVID, believe it or not. That's how long we've been doing this sort of formally. We wanted to start a 900 megahertz repeater. That's literally how it started. We started to try to build one and realized how hard it was, and we just bought one. A loose coalition of hams who had all these different repeaters on different bands and modes, and we thought, well, let's tie them in together. So Adrian, who is more digitally inclined than I am, the Canada hubs are now that network crosses Canada, and we have a weekly net at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, 11 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, and that is now over hundreds of repeaters on the weekend. We have dozens of repeaters connected at any one time to our hub, so that was the first thing we did. Then we got into ballooning. We needed a bit of a something else to do, and we came across your articles on pico ballooning, and that, like I said, you were our inspiration, and we started doing pico ballooning and high altitude ballooning. We're teaching kids. You can see there's an article there about how we did it in front of a class of kids. That's me and NZ there down on the ground trying to fix a broken wire at the last minute, because that's what happens. We've been asked to do a lot of these shows and give presentations at the website. Just sort of happened over time. Yeah, there you have it. Is that you there on a cyclone rake? That's me with my butt up in the air facing you in sort of Hawaiian shirt.
Just kidding. All right. Well, so you were repairing a wire. I thought at first when I saw that, I hadn't read that, but I saw the picture and I thought, oh man, they're trying to put the gas in there and get it the right amount. And I'm thinking, with the wind blowing, there's no way they're going to get the gas in there right. But I'm glad to hear that you were working on a connection or a wire.
Yeah, I know he's got his portable butane torch, and I think the little I can't remember what it was last summer, but something came off at the last second, of course, and he fixed it, and that one was quite successful. That's the one that fried over. Oh no, that one made it to Newfoundland. We think it got sucked down in a downdraft at a big storm cell off the coast of Newfoundland.
Wow, cool.
We just had one come down after going around the world 2.99 times. It was 100 miles away from 3 laps around the world. It was Athens State University, W4 CQD-4, and it over Mississippi. It hit a big thunderstorm a couple of days ago and came down, and it's reporting its position from Hattiesburg. So if anybody wants to go down and get a little pico payload, that's sitting in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
They're hard to find, aren't they? We had one come down in a accessible area in Montana, and we had a guy go look for it, a local there, and he just couldn't find it. But they come back.
It shows a 6-digit grid square the way I'm doing it, which is a 3x5 mile box. So it's a tiny needle in a very large haystack, and we basically drove around that grid square, hanging from a fence post in the backyard of this guy on a cow pasture. It was 1 foot above the ground. The antenna was 2 feet above the ground, draped across the bush, and being heard 1,000 miles in all directions. And the guy was just amazed at that.
We really envy you guys in the Midwest and areas you are in the South, where you guys can actually get your HABs back. We are in a very challenging area for HABs and high altitude terrain, and some of it's very inaccessible. So we had one come back, and it came back about 200 meters from prediction, with that software model for predicting your flight.
109,000, and launched it in Tennessee. It went down in Mississippi. But everything on that thing went perfect. Even the chase went perfect. We were probably within about 1 block of it when it touched the ground. We actually made a wrong turn in a neighborhood, and that caused us to miss it. But we almost could have actually.
And they turned wrong.
Yeah, we almost
store puck lights, LED puck lights, and we had it looking like a UFO. It looked really good, and that one went up. We're kilometers. Went up 35 kilometers. So whatever that is, 125, 130. It's a funny story because we were looking for it. We were heading toward it, and all of a sudden it just shut off. And Adrian and I are going, oh my God, what the hell? And we're driving around, just stopped dead. What could have happened? And about 10 minutes later, we get this phone call, and it was some guy in a trailer park. You can't make this up. Walking his dog. And it landed right in front of him, and he goes, "Yeah, I thought it was somebody dropping drugs from an airplane."
Yeah.
We had one land landed in the river, and we thought, well, that's a goner. And 5 minutes later, I get a call from a houseboat saying, "We saw this parachute in the water, thought a skydiver was in there, and we hooked it and brought it in, and it's got your name on it."
That's from Hams all the way down from Seattle, Vancouver Island, the interior British Columbia, Idaho, even northern Oregon. We did a GoFundMe, and we've raised a couple $1,000 US with that. Makes losing that a couple $1,000. Did we lose our host?
We
All
had
right.
one experiment where a student came and attached it, and it went up with 2 ounces of lift instead of 2 pounds 2 ounces, and it took 7 hours to get to altitude. Had $1,000 worth of cameras on it, and it went from Birmingham, Alabama. We've had all kinds of wild stuff like that happen.
I would love to have one come down within 100 kilometers of where I could get it. We just cannot explain. We cannot. We have to be very careful about the outflow winds, and that's from the ocean. So if we launch around around dusk in the summertime, the balloons will go inland and then they'll go up to altitude, and then as they fall, they'll come back and more or less land exactly where they took off from within a few K. But it isn't a sure thing, as you know, but it is a time of day that seems to work best for us. Otherwise, if they go, down into eastern Washington or interior British, and we've had so many guys volunteer to help. We've had aeronautical search, we've had search and rescue guys use it as a drill to try and find it, and an exercise, I should say. We had guys down south, four-wheelers down south in Washington, ready to go. And it doesn't matter how many guys you have. If it's nowhere you can get it, you ain't getting it.
Well,
I visited a radius on site. I was walking out to my pickup truck, and after it had gone up to 100,000 feet and parachuted back down, it landed in the bed of his truck.
well, that's pretty good.
Wow. I find that hard to believe.
Yeah. Hey,
So
so
It's a good
Scott,
story.
Scott,
Yeah.
I've got your other website up here. It
Main
looks like
page.
it looks like you guys just involved in a lot of stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
So you call it the Canadian Hub. You're involved with All Star and a lot of stuff going here. How many people are in this group? You have a large group.
That's a good question. We're a very flux group. We're so loose. It's basically we're just friends that get together to do things. When we first started to try to do things, we went to a local established organization who had no time for us. They didn't want together people that want to do things. And our philosophy is if you want something done, you do it. If you want something bought, you pay for it, unless you can convince others to pay for it.
Yeah.
We don't have meetings. Yeah. We have get-togethers. There's no politics. We never say no, but we just say if you want to do it and you can't do it yourself, you have to find someone to help you. We tend to all get together, and it's funny how when you're successful, people sort of, want to be a part of it. So we've gotten a lot of attention, and we've got a lot of people involved that want to help.
Well, yeah, and on the internet today, you don't know what to believe. You get all this news, and well, do I believe this or do I believe that? You got to make a choice here. But this is something interesting I see on your site here. Your group was founded in the year 1473.
Absolutely true.
So, man, you guys go back a long ways, man. That's what
we do.
14, 6.
We do. We got our start using hidden Templar gold.
That's 1,000. That's 1,000 years ago.
That's right.
Yeah, they got in there before the spark gap. They were into the banging rocks level.
Yeah.
Well, the earliest ancestor was a Knight Templar, right? So they clearly, as you know, they hid the gold on Oak Island.
Yeah. I've been watching them dig
looking for it now, or they're wasting their time.
They did a good job. They did a good job hiding it down in there because I've been seeing them dig for it for a long time, and nobody's ever come over.
Well, it's not there anymore. We have it.
Oh, okay. All right.
How do you think they launched these balloons, Tom?
Right.
I don't know. No meetings, no dues, no politics. Good.
How do you have dues? How can you have no dues if you don't have gold?
Yeah. Okay, well, there's a lot of reading and a lot of interesting things here for you guys to check out. Check out the sites here. One of them is ve7nfr.com. That's this site here, ve7nfr.
Yes, that's the mothership, North Fraser Radio, ve7nfr.
And then the other is, well, let's see, what is the other one? Is there another
balloon
web
page?
I've got so many things open here.
Well, Balloon X is us. You had it.
Is that
That's
it?
us. Yep.
Okay, Balloon X. Okay,
Steely-eyed Balloon Man.
that's a good site right there. A lot of good information. So check out the two sites there, and I think we're going to go ahead and move on. Scott, I've got 2 or 3 other segments here planned for tonight. We're going to try to get through them. Don't know if we will or not, but we really appreciate you coming on and kind of giving us the insight of what the dipole is and about, and how we're not the only ones that believed it, you know.
Well, and also we also wanted to help prove that the world is round, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we get a lot of that. A lot of people that. Thank you for having me, Tom and Bill. I don't know if you heard me earlier when I said that you were. Thank you for helping us with. I don't know if you for having me.
Well, thank you so much, and you're welcome to stick around with us the rest of the show if you want to, and if not, it's fine. And
Okay.
we're gonna take a quick 1-minute break here, and then come back, and we're gonna talk. Whether you're connecting with friends near or far, tuning into the joy of the airwaves, or exploring new frequencies under the sparkling winter sky, Icom has the perfect radio to keep you in touch with what matters most. The ID58 voice messaging and share picture function. It also uses the same optional accessories as the ID52, the ID51, and the ID31. For more information on Icom radios, go to www.icomamerica.com/amateur.
Tom, I'm not hearing your audio.
Turn on or off. The manual one, sometimes I forget to turn it back on. All right, so hey, I want to talk tonight about the International Beacon Network. I know the guys we've got on the show tonight probably know a lot more about it than me. I've been a ham 60 years. Let's see, the International Beacon Network was actually, it first started in 1979. So if you guys, Glenn and Bill and Scott, if you guys have some good information on the Beacon Network, feel free to pop in here. But I want to tell you a little about the International Beacon Network. I never really, with MFJ going out of business just recently, I pulled out one of their products. It was the MFJ 980. It was the MFJ DX Beacon Monitor. And here receiver in there, and when the light came on in Tokyo, I thought, well, it's receiving Tokyo, and when the light comes on in Argentina, it's hearing Argentina. But that's not what name. I think the name probably messes with us a little bit. So basically, what this is just an atomic clock, and the International Beacon Network. Bring it up. The International Beacon Network, which was established in '79, it was established between the North California DX Foundation and the International Amateur Radio. If you look at it, what they've done is they put beacons around the world, just about in every corner of the globe here. There are 19 locations out there. And what they decided on doing was, each of the frequencies to give them a specific time slot to transmit. So, in other words, if we're on the 20 meters, it transmits. It's called at a certain time slots. And then once it does 15 meters and 10 meters and so forth. So each location does transmit on every band, but they have a time slot. And if you go to this site, if you just do a search for International Beacon Network, you will find a lot more information, probably be a lot clearer. But this is a site right here that's very interesting. And let's go back to the beacon here. Now, I'm having trouble. Well, first of all, the Beacon network here. This young pre-teenager and getting into ham radio, I would listen to WWV. Everybody's listening to WWV on 2.5 and 5 and 10 and 15 megahertz, and you hear that the CW and the VB, because of course I didn't have a receiver for it. They transmit on a 60 hertz carrier. This is actually long wave, guys. 60 hertz is the frequency. I've been trying to get this clock, but to sync it, you just press the button here, the green light comes on, it flashes, and when the light goes solid, it has synced to the National Bureau of Standards, WWVB, at 60 hertz. Now, for instance, if you notice here, on our switch, we're on Beacon on 14100, and if you're on 14100, you're listening on 14100 on your radio. That's the United Nations 4U1UN. Now, if you hear the Beacon now, you can say, that's Argentina, LU4AA. So this light tells us where the signal is coming from. Also the calls in what country. So they've got specific time slots there. I can't get this thing to sync. I'm just not getting a good enough signal to get it to sync here. I might could put it in a window and I could probably get it to sync. I did compare it to a online Beacon network. And let me show you here. Online, you don't need. And if you scroll down, you will actually see the frequencies here. Maybe you can read that. So I'm listening on 14100. Right now, the Beacon is transmitting in Australia. If you hear it right now, it's in Australia. Now let's watch this change. You can see my mouse here. That's VK6. Okay, it changed. Now, if you hear it, that signal is actually coming from Japan. So this gives you an idea if the band is open and to what area of the city. Now, after it transmits this call, it sends four long dashes, and the dashes are the first dash is 100 watts. The second dash is 10 watts. The third dash is 1 watt, and then the last dash, the fourth dash, is 10 milliwatts. So you can actually listen to those dashes, and if you hear all four dashes, you're hearing a 100 milliwatt signal from, say, Japan. So that's kind of how it works here with the 60 cycle carrier that the thing. Now,
yeah, Tom, it's actually 60 kilohertz.
Well, what am I saying?
You're saying
no, not kilohertz, not kilohertz.
No, I'm sitting here looking at it. WWVB is 60 kilohertz.
What?
60 hertz is power line. You ain't gonna hear power line.
Wait a minute.
Well, actually, you can, but no.
Wait a minute. Let's look it up.
Oh, you're going to argue with me now?
I'm going to argue. I'm going to argue, and whoever gets it wrong is going to get whoever gets it right will get a gold star on our
I
chart
got
here.
A gold star tonight.
All right, everybody, look it up. Does WWVB transmit on 60 hertz or 60 kilohertz? I'm saying 60 hertz. Come on, let's look it up.
I'm going to bet on kilohertz without looking. Because 60 hertz
let's look it up.
I've worked on low frequency,
and
that would be a tough.
I may be wrong.
Now, here's the other thing with the reception, Tom. You're only going to sync at night with a 60 kilohertz because your daytime propagation is going to be useless.
Boy, I think Glenn just got a gold star. Let me see.
Boy, that's going to really
be.
That's going to undo my being late, so I'm good.
Well,
we should.
Oh man, you're right, boy. You're right. It is 60 kilohertz. It is. I'm wrong. All right. Oh, okay. You guys want me to go?
Price is Right music here.
Do you guys want me to go back and start over and do the whole thing again, or?
No. Pick up where you were.
Okay. All right. So okay. Well, anyway, you're right, and Glenn, you're right about just syncing is pretty. that's a weak signal, and night is probably the best time to sync. Some people have said that it may take 2 or 3 days to sync, to get that signal. I got this atomic clock up on the wall there. I'm not even sure if it's synced. I put a new battery in it today, so I'm not sure if it's synced or not. But
I have this really cool, make it or not, but it's got a little dipole antenna that's
let me get you on.
Put in the window, and I get good signal on this, and I think it actually is an HF reception on it. But that weak signal is really cool to listen to the power steps as it drops down to 100 milliwatts. And they used to have a much longer sequence when they're only
find locations to put all the beacons, and they had blank spots where they were hoping to get something, but they didn't have something yet. Like for example, Africa, and it's quite developed. Although these days now, I was listening to it anymore.
Yeah. Well, the equipment they first used, I think Beacon Network was set up with TS50S. The Kenwood TS was a transmitter. Some hand moved to the IC7200 transceivers now. I've listened. The last day or two, I've been listening a lot more to those frequencies, and I can't hear the beacons now. A lot of them you don't hear, of course. So you might want to tune in and see if you can hear some of these beacons sometime. But if you go to the International Beacon Network website, it will clearly.
Once I figured out that you had to have your own receiver separate, I thought it was one unit like you. If I saw that light, then, hey, that's who I was hearing. And after that, I'm like, you know what? We can fix that. And I'm thinking about getting a little 20-meter receiver board, building on that 4732 chip, and let an Arduino monitor the time, because we can get our time base off of a GPS. And so now we've got accurate time. And we can do a CW decoder to decode the call sign and hear the 4 dashes and have that Arduino, instead of just a red LED, why not make it a red, green, blue, or shade of color LED? So, I heard the high power, I heard the low power, or a different color for each. And of course, if it's dark, you didn't hear it. But then light it up if it heard it and leave it lit. So you can take a glance at it and automatically see propagation everywhere.
Yeah.
That should be your next project, Glenn.
It's on the list. It is on the list.
A friend of mine in the vicinity here, he has the VE7 MTY 10-meter beacon here in Southwest British Columbia, and he has I'm not sure what he's using, but he set up.
I've heard that beacon, and I really enjoy listening to the power steps on it.
I'll let Marty know.
That's got that on 6 meters. To listen to see if the band's open on 6 meters anymore, I always listen to, and I don't hear anything on Whisper, but FT8 is going crazy. So I do that on 10 meters too, to see if it's open. Although I do enjoy going through the 10-meter beacon band. That's always fun.
All right, so I've got an idea.
Kind of like that. If it, just as it picks up a call out of FT8, do a lookup, figure out where that call is, and then light an LED in the appropriate area.
That works as long as the call sign doesn't say the middle of the ocean like some of them do.
This is true.
Zeros, 60 cycles.
0.06.
It'd be 6 zeros, right? Or no?
It's 0.06 megahertz.
No.
Yes.
Megahertz is a million, so you're talking 60. So 1, 2, 3, 4,
I'm talking.
5.
I'm 5 or 6.
Yes.
Yeah, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decimals.
Yeah, give Scott
6.
the gold star on that one.
Okay.
Thanks.
So
Thanks,
here's
man.
what we're going to do, guys. I've got an idea. Somebody's already built a receiver for 60 kilohertz. I want to build a receiver for 60 cycles. Okay, I'm gonna build it.
You've
for
already
60
got
cycles.
that.
Well, we kind of do. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna
turn
calculate.
your light
I'm
on
gonna put
and
a
you'll
quarter
hear
wave.
60
Glenn, over your house, over in your house in Conway. In your house in Conway, we are going to.
If you're hearing 60 cycle, you don't want to hear 60 cycle.
No,
It's not
we're
that
gonna do.
interesting.
No, we're gonna do this. So look, Glenn, in your new house over in Conway, I'm calculating a quarter wave. I don't want to put anything big up there. Okay, we're not going to go big. We're just going to go quarter wave.
You want a quarter wave 60 hertz.
Yeah, here we go. Quarter wave 60 hertz, right here,
Okay.
and that's going to be.
About a mile and a half.
Oh, let's see. No, it's not that. It's not that bad. It's only
60 cycle? Oh my God, it'll be hundreds of miles.
well. But I promised Glenn we're not going to put anything big up. We're going to go quarter wave. We could go half wave. We could go full wave. Glenn,
Yeah,
look.
but if I'm going to do this, I'm going to want a beam because it's going to be weak signal at
30.
night.
It's 39 million feet. Okay, 39. I don't know if we can stand that up there or not. How close are you to the airport?
Not very close.
We might get by with that.
So Tom, a friend of mine on Main Island in the Gulf Islands of British Columbia, between Washington and British Columbia, is one of the top world guys in low frequency stuff in VLF.
Uh-huh.
And he is he's on the water. He transmits. He has a beacon. His when you get onto those frequencies, it's crazy the amount of power you need and how little you get out. You put out 1,000 wire because there's so much current at the ends of the antennas. It's insane.
Well,
but I believe he shares the world record for distance.
Well, I thought about when the new.
Onto something here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 39 million feet
Yeah.
works out to 7,300 miles. If we just ran a ground wave on that, we could probably work half the world.
Yeah. Like a vertical. We can put a loading coil at the bottom. We can shorten that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we just have the space shuttle drop one down?
Oh man. Well,
12 hertz transmitter in Michigan to talk to submarines. I think at about 1 baud, and it's a 12-mile long antenna they're using with ungodly amounts of power. There have been stories that they don't need Roundup.
Well, if it's the 7,300 mile number and you drop it from the space shuttle, you'll have your
Tether. There you go.
you'll have your counterpoint touching the ground almost all the time.
in some of my IEEE stuff I've read over years that have you heard about the space elevator? Have you?
Yep.
Yes.
You've heard about it. That's where you have a tethered something up in space, miles out. If it's going to, or if not, that cable's going to wrap around Earth. You want it to stay out there. When the Earth turns, it turns. So that elevator, I don't know, man. Could you tether something just 100 miles high? I would think it.
No.
If it's
No.
more than that, you'll have to grab it pretty fast as it swings by you.
Well,
Correct me if
yeah.
I'm wrong, Bill, but it would have to be the same height as geostationary satellites.
Yeah, it'd have to.
Carbon nanotubes.
Yeah, that'll work. So I don't know how we got on this subject. Okay, so hey guys, that was my notes on the International Beacon Network, and I'm glad we have our Glenn does get a gold star.
Just as an aside on that, if you use the reverse beacon network, you might make a mention of that. That's always fun.
Yeah. All right.
The,
Well,
reverse
hey, we've got
network
some
network code.
we've got a little bit of time here. Let's go. Did everybody know what the NRQZ was?
Not me, but I was on the road all day.
Okay. All right. How about the
I
chat
flew
room
over
out
it
there?
once.
You guys in the chat room know what NRQZ is? I think they're losing control of it. So let's talk a little about it. That's the world. It has the world's largest steerable radio telescope. I might have a picture here. Let's see. It's kind of in Virginia, West Virginia. Yeah. So that's the. There's a picture. There's a picture of the radio telescope right there. Let's see. I've got a map here too. This shows where it is. There's actually 33,000 square miles that are in this zone right here. It's between Virginia and West Virginia. It's about 4 hours west of Washington, D.C.
Now, is that going to interfere with the Li-Fi?
They use Li-Fi. Okay.
I was just going to say.
All right. the population there in that town, the town is Green Bank, West Virginia. It has about 143 people. But listen to this, guys. Listen to this. By law, no cell phones, no TV, no internet routers, no microwaves, no electric blankets. I even watched a documentary here that showed that no cars with spark plugs. Anything that could generate RF noise basically is prohibited there. Now, they do have, let's see, what is this picture here? Oh, hey, you don't need a cell phone. That kind of looks like.
I'm trying to, yeah, I'm.
That kind of looks like that place
I'm at a
up.
loss.
Hey, you know what? That kind of looks like that place up in England. It's got those round rocks in a circle.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, so that's how you can communicate there. Now, let me tell you, they take it seriously. They have a person that drives around all day. This is him in his van with spectrum analyzers and location equipment. And he's looking for things like Wi-Fi routers, Wi-Fi. And years ago, he said, they might pick up, 100 issues a day driving around. Today, they're up in the 200 to 400 issues a day they're finding. So people are starting to bring stuff in. Now, if you do get caught like with a Wi-Fi or a microwave or something, the government is issuing a fine, and that fine is $50. Okay? Now, but nobody is really being charged the $50. And the community tries to help people out. For instance, if you've got a smart refrigerator that's generating RF, the community there will replace it and buy you a new old refrigerator to put in to replace that, just so they won't have any issues there. I don't know if you can read that or not, but that's some of the things that
Well, I'm going to go back to something earlier, and that's they can't use the automatic lighting gas stoves because that's a spark gap.
Well, it is spark gap, and you might have an issue with that. But you know what? The community there is starting to go back and challenge the government, and they're saying, hey, the county wants fewer wireless limits, inside the National Radio Quiet Zone. They want more cell phones. They want, more refrigerators and things like that. And so there's a push to try to bring that stuff in. Now, the reason why you don't have things generating RF there is that this area basically is kind of down in a valley. It's got mountains all around it. There's supposed to be no RF being generated there in that area, so it doesn't cause any interference to the radio telescope. Now, I saw where the radio telescope is sensitive enough right now. It can pick up a cell phone that's on standby, not making call. It says it can pick up a cell phone on Mars. But you know what? I don't think there's any cell phones on Mars, so I don't know. But that's how sensitive this telescope is. Now, I did read, and I looked in the regulations. It looks like ham radio is not restricted. If you look up the regulations, ham radio is not restricted in this area, particularly out in the outer parts of that box. Now, as you get closer to that X there in the center, as you get within 20 miles, then the restrictions become much stronger. But my understanding is you can have a ham radio in that box. You just have to call them, and you have to work with them and test with them and ensure that you're not causing any interference. And they allow
that's
you.
because of the lower frequency, but that would be an excellent spot to have a whisper receiver for a low noise whisper receiver there.
Yeah.
You just
Hey,
couldn't
Tom, I'm looking at the thing you posted earlier, and the first thing it says is no two-way radios such as FRS, CB, ham.
Well, I'm just looking at it here, and ham radio and the NRQZ. Ham radios can operate within the NRQZ, but must
Yeah.
follow specific guidelines to minimize interference. Operators are typically required to use low power levels and highly directional antennas, and coordinate with the university. And emergency communications via ham radio are usually given priority in RQZ.
So it's kind of confusing because Scott, like you said, I mean, there's conflicting. You look up on the internet, there's conflicting stuff everywhere about this, and the fact is that it's not as quiet as it used to be. Nearly everybody there now is getting cell phones. Now there is no cell phone service in the area. You wouldn't. Hey, I'm over here, man. You don't. Anyway, so there's no cell phone service there, but you can have a cell phone, and so a lot of kids. This direction finding truck runs around all the time looking for this stuff. Let's see.
Oh, according to Wikipedia, emergency service, fire, police, and ambulance, and CB radios are permitted.
Well, so, probably they've been checked out and analyzed, and they've been proven, on their channel that they don't cause the interference. So the police are able to. Cars nowadays are full of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Everything in there is that, hey, your Fitbit you wear on your arm, your wireless thermometers that, read inside and outside temperature. I mean, your doorbell, Ring doorbell, everything is Wi-Fi now. Moved there, and there's segments on some of the videos I've watched where they claim that all this RF energy and microwaves in the country causes them headaches and illness. And once they move there, then they don't have the ability to keep things out. Internet, supposedly up till now, internet was allowed later, but it had to be a wired telerouter. They will have you take out the, what did I just do? I'm trying to, and they will help you to install Ethernet and a phone line in your house. So, man, I don't know. I guess there's pros and cons. I don't think this place is as. Again, they find up to 200 or 300 problems a day, but they never find anybody yet. So, and the $50 doesn't sound too steep to me. I think they're losing the battle here, to tell you the truth.
I think ultimately what you're going to find is that this type of radio astronomy is all going to be done from space, and it's
Wi-Fi there. It emits a low-range wireless through light bulbs. Then we need to get some of those light bulbs and try them.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, let's order some of those. I wonder how it's the world's largest steerable radio telescope out there. Let's see what else I got here. Okay, well.
Yeah, I was saying in the chat room back in the spare parts for the computer system they used when they replaced that computer. And so I got 2 to 3 days behind the scenes at Arecibo way back when.
I've been to Arecibo a couple of times over many.
Gone, yeah.
Yeah, it's gone. Wow. Well, I don't see why we need that when you got this thing here, The National Radio Quiet Zone. If you never really thought much about it, you might want to move here.
Arecibo, we worked moon bounce from the university here. They had a 400 watt transmitter, and it was an S9 voice signal. Something like it sounded like 20 meter sideband. It was amazing.
That was a massive antenna. It was amazing.
Put out the word again here, guys. If you're listening out there on shortwave radio, you're listening to Amateur Radio Roundtable, and you're listening to the show on Thursday 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern on 7490, x.com, Twitter TV, or you can just go to w5kub.com, and there you will have a screen that comes up that has the chat room plus the video, so you got them both. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll see you next week. And I think our show, Christmas Eve, we're going to cancel our Christmas Eve webcast. All right. Hey, the show after Christmas, I want you to see your Christmas presents. I want to see your ham radio Christmas presents. All right. You guys got anything you want to say before we get off here?
No, I'm good.
You're good. I still don't see how you made it to Conway, Arkansas, and that
It was kind of on the far side of West Memphis when I sent that email.
Oh, well, that's almost
So
45
I bought
minutes.
myself a half hour.
Yeah, that's a good 45 minutes probably.
But I will tell you something. I don't know what it was. The split was not moving. It was just dead for an hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd planned to swing by and pick up that router from you, that Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But I just he had ordered and didn't bother to update his address with the place he ordered it from, and it was delivered to my old house, so I had to be there to meet it.
All right. For watching tonight, and we'll see you next week. Good night.